So on Monday we went over props, so now we are going to go over state in React. So we're pulling up our example app that we had before. And it looks like I forgot to reset my code here. So I'm going to reset it to what I merged into master last. So here we go. We have our app and we had some child components and it greeted all of us. So we're going to add some state to this. So I'm going to start by just removing all of these extra components in the array and just making one component here. So now we're back to one component. Let's see. So now we're going to add a constructor so we can have some state in here. And we're going to give it a name. And by default it's going to be Brian. So now, instead of having a hard-coded value in here, we're going to give this JavaScript and say this.state.name. See if we blew up our app. So nothing changed. That's good. So in this case, we're actually passing in whatever our state is into the child component as a prop. So that will propagate down to our child component. So this dot props dot name is what we're ultimately changing by changing the state of our app state name. So now we're going to create an input box. And we're going to say onChange to update the value. And we are going to tell it to run a function that doesn't exist yet. Change name. So now we need to create a change name function. And we need to toss in event handler for this. So it will keep a copy of the input object when we change it so we can see what the value is. So, and last but not least, we need to allow the change name function to have access to the state through the this object. So this.changeName equals this.changeName.bind this. Now that we have access to the state, we can set this.setState, and we're going to change the name to the event.target.value. So now we have a text box here, and I missed something. So I'm going to inspect and go to the React screen. So we have the state. Oh, sorry, go to the app. And now it shows us here's the state for name here. And you'll notice that as I'm changing this, it's not changing it. So I'll look back at my code and see what I missed. Alright, so now we're going to hop into our sources view, something you guys probably haven't had a chance to do yet. And I'm going to see if this function is getting called. Okay. Now we're going to look at the event, and here, when we hover over event, it will show us the target. Scroll down. And it has a value of h. So you'll see that you can get a lot of data about your application from the Chrome developer tools, just like you would be able to from a regular compiler IDE. State. Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if the app needed restarted. Okay, I'll remove the buggers. Just for fun, I'm going to reload this page. It works. I don't know why my code wasn't working and now works. However, it works. It's always fun. So we'll go back to the React tab, and you'll see that here in the state view, as we change it, it changes the state, which ultimately changes the child component here. So as we change the state here, we're passing in the state into the props of the child component, and you'll see the props changing for the child component. And on the board, I also showed an example of a button, so we'll add a button here. Give it a name of restored default name. Then we'll have an onClick method for this button. because that's what you do with buttons. And we'll say this dot set default. Oh, hello, Catherine. Now we click the change name, and it sets it back to Brian. So does anyone have questions about this? Okay. And as you manage state, you can also manage what components render on your form on the fly. So if you want a new view to pop up based off of button click, you can do that. And we'll go over that later. So that concludes this lecture here.